Hola, I'm Margaret from Moon in Spain, and today I'm greeting you from the European capital for surfing. It's the town of Ericeira. We're about 20 miles northwest of Lisbon. And I'm standing right down here close to the port area. There's a boat actually coming in, a fishing boat coming in right now. So even though today's Monday, which isn't usually the biggest fishing day of the week, we've seen a couple boats come in already, seen them drying out some of the fish and also sorting out the fish to eventually sell. But now there's a boat coming in, you could see just coming off in the distance, pulling up to one of the ports. So afterwards, we'll continue walking through some of the beautiful streets. This is one of the most beautiful seaside towns in Portugal. So you could see the center of the town of Ericeira, and then we're going to continue on a little bit further north to another beautiful seaside town. So from here, you can see a nice view of the town of Ericeira, built just above this beach right here. This is the Praia dos Pescadores, the beach of the fishermen. So we're right above the fishing port. We have a seagull here right in front of me as well. And then the beautiful beach here. This beach is known for the history of the departure of the King Manuel II, who departed Portugal into exile right after the Republican Revolution in the year 1910. And here you can see a couple of the fishermen right here pulling the nets out into their boat. It's actually looking up at me right now. So here you can see the boat that was coming in at the beginning of the video, they're now pulling out of the water. So most of the boats they pull out with a tractor and then bring them right here to the fishing port right here. But this boat probably belongs to a different port, so they're going to pull it out and then it's going to go on one of the flatbed trucks and then drive back to the port where it came from. Okay, so from a little bit further up, you could see a better view of the fishing ports here in Ericeira. Actually, in the early part of the 19th century, this was the fourth largest fishing port in the whole country of Portugal after Lisbon, Porto, and Setúbal. But then there was a railway that was built that changed a bit the fishing industry in this area. You can get an idea of what the streets look like here. And here you can see the main plaza right here, which is called the Praça da República. And then another one of the commercial streets coming off the main plaza as well. Okay, so now we're gonna walk to see the main market. So there probably won't be too much fish today in the market because it is Monday, but it's always nice to see the markets in all the towns that you visit. Here you have another beautiful side street going down. So now we're in the market. Here's the area where the fish would normally be. It's actually really pretty even to look at without the fish. But you can look at my past 2 videos to see some very good fish markets in Portugal as well. So you can see it's fairly quiet, but there are a lot of fruits and vegetables. Okay, well the market was super quiet, but we knew that. But like I said, you have my last 2 videos with great markets in Portugal, and we have one more amazing market to visit as well. So now we're going to stop and have a coffee and a pastry because Portugal has the absolute best pastries that you can enjoy pretty much every day, all year long. So here you can see they have the pastéis de nata, the custard pastries that we eat all over, and then another one with almonds, bol de Berlin, which we usually eat on the beach. They're mini bol de Berlins, and then all types of pastries. I'm gonna have one of these, which is called a Jesuit. And they have pastel de feijão with here, which are made from beans. Here as well you can see, we just walked out of the cafe and off the main plaza. Another one of the main commercial streets here. It was actually a nice photography exhibition as well. Here you have some more of the commercial streets here as well. It's fairly quiet. It's a town that depends quite a bit on tourism. I mean, people come here to surf, but it's also very close to Lisbon, and it's an absolutely beautiful town. So the population is about 10,000, which would normally grow quite a bit in summer, but this year it's fairly quiet. And here in the shops, it's interesting. In the commercial area, you have a mixture of like hip with traditional items. So here we have, for example, the wool socks that the women wear, and then we have some blankets and small throw rugs that are made in the area of the Alentejo as well. Some more blankets, and then the traditional woolen sweaters. We'll see more of those in the next town that we visit. So if you watch my last video of the Alentejo, you'll learn and see about the cork and the products made from cork, but here they have a store that has masks now made from cork. Okay, so now we're going to walk down to what is the South Beach, and then we're going to continue on further north on the coast. And you can see here at the entrance to the beaches here in Ericeira, they have all the information about the beach in this beautiful tile. So they have what the winds are like, the temperature, the average temperature of the water, and they have it both in Portuguese and in English. And then all the facilities that you can find on the beach as well. Okay, one of the things that I love along these beaches is called the poetry walk, basically, or the poetry way, Caminhos de Poesia. So you go walking. This is number 7. And there's part of a poem from one of my, or probably my favorite Portuguese poet, Fernando Pessoa. But we've walked by quite a few along the way. So here you can see the Caminho de Poesia, and then you have the outdoor bar, and then here is the South Beach right here. And also on all the beaches that we've been on in the past week or so, there's all information now about the COVID and going back to the sea with a new attitude, it's called. Okay, so now we're going to say goodbye to Ericeira. Well, not goodbye, but see you soon. And then we're going to continue going a bit further north, stopping at a couple more beaches and arriving at another beautiful seaside town along the Atlantic coast. So we're going to say goodbye here from the South Beach. There's a beautiful hotel just off here to the right that's called Vila Galé. It's a chain of hotels that you can find throughout the country, but this is an absolutely beautiful hotel looking out on the Atlantic coast. So we're going to continue on and show you more beautiful places along the coast. Here you have a nice view of the other side of the hotel, Vila Galé. We actually just missed Gordon Ramsay. He was staying here in Ericeira filming a program, so I'm sure you can look for that eventually and see one of his shows that he filmed right here in Ericeira. Okay, so we just went down a little bit further south down the coast. We're at the beach that's called Foz de Lisandro. Lisandro is the river you can see in the back, and the word Foz in Portuguese means the mouth of the river. So this is where the Lisandro River flows into the Atlantic. You can see all the surf schools down there. So this is where tons of people come to do surf. So they don't surf so much right in the town of Ericeira, but they come down this direction. So you can see how many people out, most of them from the schools here, but other people just coming down to surf on their own as well. So you can see the great waves coming in. And also the beautiful coastline here. If you can imagine the history of this coastline dating back to the Phoenicians, all along this coastline, and now it's turned into the European capital of surf. From here you can see the town of Ericeira, just a little bit further north from where I'm standing. The Hotel Villa Galé, people out here surfing along the more rocky area. And then you can also see up here, there's a great place for people to sleep in their RVs or their vans. They have a beautiful view and can get up in the morning and go surfing. Here we are. We're just driving north from Ericeira. We're still driving down the national highway, basically along the coast. It's a very important agricultural area. But here we found these friends in one of the roundabouts. Besides fruit trees, there's a lot of apples, pears, but there's also a lot of vineyards as well. Most of those vineyards are for like a box wine, but a good box wine that you can buy just to have in your house, like a table wine. At this hole you can see all the vineyards going up the hill. Here we have as well, driving along the highway, we have a lot of the Roca pears, which are exported a lot to the United States and to other countries, so that might sound familiar to some of you. Hello to everybody again. We are now in our next and final stop for this afternoon's visit to the Atlantic coast in Portugal. We are in the beautiful seaside town of Nazaré. So we are right now up in the part of the town that's called Sítio, and down below you have the rest of the town of Nazaré and a beautiful view of the Atlantic coast. So we're going to take a little bit of a walk through the town of Nazaré up here of the area of Sítio, and then we'll go down to the beach area as well. Okay, so from the other side of the view, you could see right here in front of me, there's a padrão, which is a monument. You can see with the cross on top of it, that is dedicated to Vasco da Gama, who came here to ask for blessings before he did his first voyages. So now I just walked down here to the main plaza of Sítio, so you can see there's some different restaurants and shops here as well. Little area where sometimes they have music playing. A lot of times there's a man playing fado here. You can also see the Church of Our Lady of Nazareth, which is a church that was built over a grotto because there was a statue of the Virgin Mary that was brought over originally to the city of Mérida in Spain from Nazareth. And then eventually in the year 711, it was brought here to what is now the city of Nazaré by a monk and also by the last Visigoth king, King Roderick. And they became hermits here in a grotto, and eventually, the statue was buried for years during the time that the Muslims were here, and then eventually the statue was taken out after the Christians entered again in this area, and then they built this church here on top of where the grotto was, the Church of Our Lady of Nazareth. Here they also have a lot of different shops up in the plaza that sell the wool ponchos that protect the people here from the cool wind coming off the Atlantic, and also wool socks and sweaters as well. And we're going to go and visit one of my friends, Isabel. She's one of the women up here in the main plaza, looking over the Atlantic. They sell dried fruits and nuts, and they wear the 7-layer petticoats that the women here would wear, as Isabel explained to me, to meet their husbands when they would come back from fishing. So they have 7 layers. The first layer they would use to cover up their shoulders to protect them from the wind, and then the other layers they could use to protect the rest of their body and their legs. So here you can see some of the wool sweaters and ponchos. A view of the Atlantic from up here. And now we're gonna visit my friend Isabel. I actually just saw her right when we arrived. I had to come and see her because I haven't seen her for so long, since last October, so it was quite emotional the moment. We can't touch each other or hug each other. We had to do the elbow greeting, but it was still so nice to see each other again. Here you can see what she has here to sell. She has the peanut cookies, dried figs, and all different nuts, cashews, pistachios, excellent almonds. She has the little wood boxes that she uses to measure, and the great peanut cookies as well, in small and in big. So you can see she actually has there's actually a few people in Nazaré today, so it's nice. They had, quite a long time where there was no activity here, so usually they come out and they dance, especially Isabel, because she's so kind. I stayed in her house. We actually slept in her house because tradition here is that people rent out rooms and apartments for travelers. So we actually stayed in her home, so that's why we became very close friends. So she has some tourists here, travelers. She's taking pictures and showing them all her petticoats, which is fun. Now she's dancing and passing out hand sanitizer to everyone. It's funny because the people don't have masks on, which is sort of strange, but at least she's passing out hand sanitizer for them. So I never asked Isabel about her family, but this is her family. That's her family, her father, her mother, and Isabel, and her brother. So this is, you can see the skirts that they're wearing with all the petticoats. ¿De qué año fue a foto?
Eu tenho 56, já foi há 50 anos.
So she says the photos from about 50 years ago.
Eu já usava série.
And here she has a photo with the bullfighter, Rochinol, I believe his name is. I'll have to remind myself soon. But when we stayed in her house, she told us that that's where he stays every year when he comes for the bullfights in Nazaré. So we could only stay one night. Because he was coming the next night to stay there. So she has a photo here with him in the Plaza de Toros in the bull ring here in Nazaré. Now her husband's up here. He came up to bring her lunch. Okay, well now we're gonna go down to the area by the beach. Isabel stocked us up with plenty of almonds and caramelized nuts and pumpkin seeds for our travels. So we will see you down by the beach. So when you're in Nazaré, you're supposed to eat grilled fish, octopus, sardines, goose barnacles, anything from the sea. But we have our favorite Indian restaurant here, and we were needing some spice. So we got some great food here at the restaurant called Little India. And they also have a great dessert. And then we continued on our way. Okay, so now we're down here right on the beach in Nazaré. There are quite a few people because the weather is beautiful. It's about 70 degrees, and it was a little bit cloudy before, but now it's not. So we're on the main beach in the town of Nazaré. Nazaré is famous for surfing. So just off the coast of Nazaré, basically just off from where we're looking now, there's a 16,000 feet canyon below the sea that's about 140 miles long. So that's one of the reasons that we have such high waves here in the town of Nazaré. It's famous for a couple different, now many surfers. One of them, Garrett McNamara, who was an American surfer from Hawaii. Rodrigo Cocha as well. So waves from the heights of 78 to 100 feet high. They have surfed along this coastline. But the largest waves that we have here, we have in the winter months, so mostly November, December. And now you can see here there's a funicular that actually, you can see the funicular is coming down right now. That runs down from the top of the town, from Sitio, and it runs down here to the area along the beach. So people that don't want to drive in their car or walk up and down from the top, they can take the funicular. And you can see a lot of people down here right now enjoying the beach. And the area down here that's filled with tons of restaurants. A lot of people come here to eat and enjoy the seafood along the coast here in Nazaré. So you can see here also, looking south from Nazaré, the beautiful sandy beaches going that direction. The beaches with the main beach with the highest waves are north of here. It's called the North Beach, and that's where in the winter time, the highest waves come up. So you can see and listen to the Atlantic coming in right now to the coast of Nazaré. So here we have a view of one of the main plazas here and some of the narrow streets that travel up through Nazaré. And then here we also have some women sitting out because it's custom here in Nazaré to rent out rooms in your home. So you have the women sitting out here. You can see in front of me renting out their rooms in their homes, just like I did with Isabel years ago. And here you have a nice view as well of one of the other streets that travels up just across the street from the beach, traveling up toward the other neighborhoods here in Nazaré. And we also have down here on the beach some of the old traditional Portuguese fishing boats. So you saw the picture with Isabel and her family, and here they have some of the actual boats that they leave out here. So the boats usually would be pulled in with cattle. Now they're almost always pulled in by tractors in the morning. So when they go out to do the fishing, then they're pulled in by the tractors, and then they pull on the nets and separate the fish to sell later on in the day for restaurants and to the local markets. So down here on the coast, we also have, it's actually now referred to as the Museum of Dried Fish, but traditionally, and they still do sell all types of dried fish, sardines, mackerel, some swordfish, and even some larger fish that you can buy for stewing and for different types of dishes. Even though today's Monday, there's still quite a few women out here selling. Here she also has some octopus that you can use. So it's dried octopus, but you can purchase it and make a stew with it. And then they have, like I said, a lot of it's sort of empty right now, but they do have some places just out in the sun where they dry all the fish every day. Well, I hope you enjoyed our visit today along the Atlantic coast here, just north of Lisbon, visiting the town of Ericeira and some of the great surfing beaches along the way, up here to the gorgeous town of Nazaré here on the beach, seeing some of what is the old traditional ways that people used to live here, as well as the now contemporary tourism here along the beaches. So please remember to give a thumbs up and to leave a comment. Also to subscribe to the channel Moon in Spain with the bell if you'd like to receive a notice every time we post a new video. So we will see you soon, and thanks for joining us. Hasta pronto.
I am your Maria. I am your Maria.